Hi, and welcome to the Two Bridges Art Academy. Today we're going to try our fun scribble drawing. Let's give that a try. Now you might be wondering why a scribble drawing. Truthfully, it's a lot of fun and it just gets your hand moving and kind of gets you away from being too particular about when you're rendering a portrait or a landscape or just want to get in. And sometimes it's just good to fill up a page, and a scribble drawing is a great way to do it. And plus, it always looks fun. We're going to be using some Micron pigments today, which you can find on our website. They come in different sizes from 0.05 to all the way up to 0.08, everything in between. But before we start using those pens today, I want to talk about other options that are out there. Pigma also comes in a different line of pens that are available, a lot of different nibs that they have. This is a wedge kind, and it's really a great magic marker style pen. You change the transitional edge on the pen, and it kind of lays down something thick and thin. It's really a nice moment right there. We also have in a different brand right here, kind of a barrel point version, and it's really a nice option to maybe an exaggerated Sharpie to really kind of show you some contour and curved lines. And then going back to way back in the day, using a technical pen, which was my go-to. These are great, but they're not consistent with their ink. Of course, we could always try a scribble drawing using a dipping pen, which would be a fantastic idea, using waterproof ink. But I think today we're going to just try to use the Micron pens. Now, depending on what we have for the reference material, is going to kind of dictate what we end up drawing. I thought I'd try to do a portrait today, and I am going to just transition over to a regular piece of cardstock here. I like a lot of different papers, from vellum to Strathmore, everything in between. It's a general drawing paper, but I thought a piece of cardstock today would have a nice smooth surface, kind of hold up well to the pen. My subject matter today is going to be good old Abe Lincoln here. So what does it mean again to do a scribble drawing? Well, I'm going to use a number 3. I'm going to try to hold it up to the camera. Oops. There we go. The tip, you can tell it also is printed on the side. But when a scribble drawing, you want to get going with it, is essentially to, if I was to do a traditional portrait, I would start to use a pencil, a graphite, or paint, and I'd start to block out the different elements of his face right here by maybe doing checking distances, quartering his face, really kind of break it down and plan to build it up. But the thing about doing a scribble drawing is once you start moving the pen, you just want to keep going with it. So almost as if you're just trying to let things happen. So that's what you're going to see here. I'm just going to start moving the pen, and we're going to see what happens. Now, what does that mean? Well, scribbling. Okay, it's almost as simple as that. Once we start moving, we're not going to stop. Here I'm going to start working on these eye sockets on the side with his big eyebrows right there. Down further here into his other eye socket here. Thinking about his nose. And as you see, I'm going to start thinking about contour lines, hatching, cross-hatching. It's all going to be, I'm not going to be overly particular about drawing, trying to really plan this out. It's basically I'm trying to fill a void and never really have a point where my hand stops moving and I can kind of rest. And that's part of the fun of doing a scribble drawing, is to just let go and be loose, and good things will happen if you do so. This is not, again, how I traditionally would do a portrait, but I think you'll find that if you give this a try yourself, it'll really try to free you up and allow you to really experience the excitement of what scribble drawing is all about. Now, I'm going to try to do this quickly on camera today, and keep in mind, time restrictions, but I could spend hours doing this and really building up a really detailed portrait here. But you can start to see he's starting to come into its own here, his hairline. And as I start to essentially get closer to where I might want to be, I'll start thinking about maybe filling in some of these values where I get really darker and middle tone and light moments. This might not feel comfortable for a lot of folks. I would totally understand that. We want to plan things out and make them look good. But the beauty of this kind of drawing is we're not trying to be too overly particular. you're trying to learn something every time you pick up the brush or the pen or the pencil, the graphite or whatever you're using for the day. In this case, it's going to be a pen, and see what we can learn. And today I'm learning to just keep that hand going and follow whatever strikes me and moves me. The nice thing also about working in this particular technique is you really start to feel that there's an energy with your line work that really starts to come through. You're not going to get this if you plan everything out with, specific smooth brush strokes and being overly particular here. And nothing is going to showcase that there's an emotion happening in your artwork more than scribbling. It truly is something you've been doing when you were a child, and let's take advantage of that as we become a more advanced artist and take it to the next level. So I'm going to keep working on this, but in the interest of time, I'm going to pause and try to fill in some of those voids. But you can see in a matter of 3 or 4 minutes, I've captured the essence of good old Abe here, and I'll now try to take it to the next level. Well, I've put about 10 more minutes into the scribbled drawing, and my hope is that I have essentially started to fill in some of these color values that we're seeing here. The dark spot inside his eye socket, his beard down below his neck with the cast shadow, his hairline, all the spots around. And essentially what I'm trying to say is that my pen never stopped moving. It really is just all about trying to find the value and start to keep the emotion and the excitement that we're seeing in this way of rendering a likeness. It really is something that can open yourself up to new opportunities that hopefully can maybe be in your paintings as well. So give scribble drawing a try. You'll really enjoy it. I know you will.